Welcome to day 8 of the 12 Days of Christmas series. Today I will be creating a whack-a-mole inspired game called Whack an Elf. So here you can see that I have the Pygame template ready. So let's get started first by setting up my background. I'm going to name this BG image res/background.png and convert. And because it's not the resolution I want, I'm going to reassign it. Pygame transform, scale my BG image to window width, window heights. And down here, if I go to, I'm going to type screen.blit for my BG image at coordinates 0, 0. Now, if I run this, you can see there's my little background. I'm going to use the Pygame scaled flag, which will scale up the window for me while conserving the resolution that I want it to be at. So let's start working on the elf. So I'm going to make a new file called elf, import Pygame as PG, and I'm going to have to import randint from random in order to reposition it. So from random, import randint, and I'm going to get all of my constants. So I'm going to name this class elf init method. I'm going to import my image. So image load res elf pop convert alpha. Okay. And then since that was just the import, I want my actual image to be a scaled down one. So scale my image, and I want to scale it down by a quarter. So I'm going to make a tuple. So image.getWidth divided by 4, and then image.getHeight divided by 4. So self.position and self.rect have to be none for now. So I'm going to make a method called reposition, and my position is going to be basically a random point anywhere in the window. So randint 0 when width minus self.image.getWidth, and randint between 0 and window height minus self.image.getHeight. And in terms of my rect, I'm just gonna get rect and set the top left to my position. And this is gonna help me with collisions. So let's just draw this elf now onto my screen. So screen.blitz, self.image, self.position. And actually, since we have a rect, we don't really need to use this position here. So I can make a rect equals none, position, position, and now that all that's left is rect, we could do a self.image get rect to prevent having any none errors. Let's go in here, from elf, import elf, make an instance of it right below our image loads. So elf is equal to elf. And then down here, we can do elf.draw onto our screen. Now, if I run it, forgot to call reposition. Let's do that. And now there shouldn't be any problem. Cool. Now it's going anywhere. So we want it to keep going anywhere whenever we click it. So if event.type is Pygame mouse button down and event button is equal to 1, if elf.rect collide point with the event position, and I want my elf to reposition. So now if I click it, so it's going everywhere. So now that we have the basics down, I want a timer. So we're going to get that by using Pygame's getTicks function. So down here, I'm going to set the current time to Pygame time getTicks. And this is basically counting how long it's been since the game has launched. And I want my time left to be 20 seconds and time left minus equals my current time divided by 1,000. And that is because getTicks is returned in milliseconds and I have to turn it into actual seconds. And the way to show it on the screen, I need to import a font. So Pygame font, sysfont, and let's use Comic Sans at the size 16 pt. And I'm going to name this show time. So font.render and make this an f string. So time remaining is going to be my time left. I do not want anti-aliasing, and I want the text color to be black because the background is white. And now I can draw that down here using screen blit show time, and I liked it at 10:05. So if I run it now, you can see that there's a lot of decimals, and the way to fix that is by just flooring it. So from math, import floor, and here I can floor this value, and now it's whole numbers. Now, how do I end the game when time is up? And the way to do that is by making a game over variable. So game over is false. And then down here, if not game over, then we can keep drawing the show time and all of that stuff. Else, we want to show how many times we clicked it. So let's also make a current points variable. So current points, and let's set that to 0. And every time we click the elf, we want current points to rise by 1. And we're going to show how many points we currently have the same way we show the time. So we can copy all of this, show points, font, render, and this time let's call it wax. And instead of time left, we want our current points, and then we can make a ternary operator to dictate when the game is over or not. So game over is true if our time left is less than 0, else keep it at false. Down here, we can blit how many current points we have. Show points, and I thought it looked good at the exact opposite side. So win width minus show points dot get width minus 10, and again 5 pixels from above. Let's run this. We have 0, and it's going to keep going up by 1 digit every time we click on the elf. So that's pretty much everything for during the game. Now once game over is true, we want to show how much points we made, and we want to instruct the player to press escape to close. So I'm going to write this real quick. So we have total points, font render, time is up, you made this many points, false black, same as before, and I just blit it at the center of the screen. And I also made a press close surface where it says press escape to close, and I blit it on the screen about 100 pixels below the center. Let me make the time shorter, 5 seconds. So let's run this. Let's make a couple points. Time is up, you made 6 points, press escape to close, and there you go. That is it for today's game, and I will see you tomorrow.